Hello, amazing. Is there such a thing as being too generous? Welcome to Reframes, the podcast where we invite you to take a different perspective on life. I'm Mathias Jakobsen. And I thought of this because during our travels in Denmark, I would often get up early with the kids when they wake up and make sure they get breakfast and kind of start off the day, and then let my wife sleep in as long as she wanted to. And it's something that she really, really enjoys, and we called it the gift of sleep, which is such a rare gift as a parent. So giving her the gift of sleep and her receiving the gift of sleep was a nice little gesture. And I aspire to be generous as much as I can, but I noticed that there were days where I was so exhausted and tired and hadn't slept well because of whatever, it doesn't matter, and I felt that I still wanted to give her this amazing gift of sleep because I know how much she enjoyed it. However, I would fail to notice in myself that on those days where I was too exhausted, I began expecting her to reciprocate. And obviously that didn't go so well, because when you begin expecting something but you don't tell the other person that you're expecting it, then it's just kind of this emotional debt that begins to pile up. And so suddenly this gift of sleep was not actually a gift, it was a debt. It was something that I was expecting her to pay back. And we didn't talk about it at first because I didn't notice it and we didn't articulate it, but she began to feel it. She began to feel this kind of uncertainty, is this something that I'm, are you giving this to me, or is this something that I'm expected to pay back? Because she couldn't actually relax so much in the whole sleeping in thing when she began feeling and doubting if it was if it had to be paid back. So I think we could finally resolve it by talking about it and realizing what was going on, and that most days it was definitely a gift, but there were times where I was trying to be more generous than I could afford to be, and then suddenly it wasn't actually generosity anymore. It was just kind of unarticulated expectations and giving something with strings attached to it, which is not actually so generous. So I think what I want you to take away from this is just this, I guess the learning I had was, you can always try to be as generous as possible, but if you're trying to give something that you can't afford to give, emotionally or practically or financially or whatever, for whatever reason, there's a big risk. It's not guaranteed, but there's a big risk that it's no longer a gift, because you might fail to notice it at first, but you might have attachments to it. You might still be expecting something in return, and I think that makes it unclear. That poisons the what otherwise could have been a beautiful gift. So I guess it's the takeaway is, be as generous as you can or as you want to be, but realize at what point you're going beyond your own limits, and be honest with yourself about that, and don't try to give something that you can't afford to give. That's it for today. Thank you for listening to Reframes, the podcast where we invite you to take a different perspective on life. This podcast is produced in collaboration with Nikis Mikis. I'm Mathias Jakobsen.